Here we have an example of an exponential equation that we need to solve. Notice that the base on the left side is 5, while the base on the right side is 4. Since these two bases do not match and are not able to be made to match, then we must take logs of both sides in order to solve. So start this question by taking the understood log base 10 of both sides. After doing this, we have a principle that says that if you're taking the log of an argument and the argument has an exponent, you can take that exponent and write it multiplied in front of your log. Do be careful in this case because your exponents have multiple terms. So make sure when you multiply them in the front that they're contained within parentheses. Now, from this step, we need to think of our logs that we have as just constants. Notice that this log here contains no variables, and neither does this log. And so we can think of them as just real numbers. At this point, we want to solve for x. There's an x on the left side and an x on the right side, but they're both contained within parentheses, which indicates some multiplication needs to occur. The multiplication that needs to occur is that these two logs need to be distributed to the two terms that are in parentheses in front. We have to be careful about how we write this. We can't physically multiply x times the log, so we have to write it simply x times log of 5. The same thing with the 2 and the log of 5. You cannot multiply values that are not inside of a log by other values that are arguments. So in other words, here we could not multiply the 2 and the 5. So instead, we'd multiply the 2 in front of the log and keep that argument of 5. Doing something similar on the left side, we would have 1 times log of 4, and then minus x times log of 4. From here, notice that I now have two terms that contain x variables. I have a term here and a term here. Both of those two terms need to basically occur on the same side, so one of these needs to be moved. Also notice that we have a term here that does not contain an x. What I will do to reorder my terms and to get all the x's on the left and all terms that do not have x on the right is I basically am just going to interchange these two terms, but make sure to change their signs when you move them across the equals. So I have x times log of 5, adding over the right-hand term x log of 4, you would have plus x log of 4. And then on the right-hand side, that 1 log of 4 I'll just write as log of 4. And then I'm subtracting over the 2 log of 5, so this would be minus 2 log 5. This particular problem, I want you to star it. This procedure is something that we need to learn how to do. Basically, the procedure is make sure that your x terms are all on the left, make sure that your non-x terms are all on the right, and then if you follow these steps that I'm showing, it should work for similar problems. Once you have the x's on the left-hand side, notice that even though you can't combine the two logs, you can factor out an x. So we're going to factor the x out. That would leave us with log of 5 plus log of 4. And then the right-hand side remains the same as it had been. Okay, once that x is factored out, we can solve by dividing out whatever's in the group behind the x. So we're dividing here by log of 5 plus log of 4. On the left side, that whole group cancels and leaves us with just x. On the right side, we're left with log of 4 minus 2 log of 5, and then divided by log of 5 plus log of 4. Now, on an exam, that's an acceptable answer. That's actually what I would prefer. But if you're having to do this online and you're having to give an estimate, then I need to help you on figuring out how to plug this into your calculator. The only thing you really need to know is that you have to put an extra set of parentheses around the top and the bottom, since this whole thing is a fraction and you need to indicate to the calculator what your numerator and your denominator are. So let's go ahead and do that. So open a set of parentheses to say this is the top, log 4, close the log, minus 2 log 5, close the log, close the numerator, divide by, open parentheses, log of 5, close the log, plus log of 4, close the log, close the denominator, and then press enter. So in this case, if we round to 2 decimal places, this would be approximately -0.61.